I'm the owner of BookTree Bookstore, Kirkland's only independent, new, and gently used bookstore at 609 Market Street. People sometimes ask what inspired me to open up the business. I knew Mary and Rebecca, who owned Park Place Books. When Park Place Books closed, Rebecca retired. Mary wanted to reopen and do another business, and it took her a while. So about a year after she closed, I called up Mary. I said, "So have you reopened yet? And would you like me to host any readings for you guys?" And Mary says, "Well, we're about to open, but what I need is a working partner." At the last minute, I said, "Well, Mary, I guess I could, buy myself the worst paying job I ever had in my life." And so we jumped in and started the bookstore. And that was back in 2016. After about 6 months, Mary decided she had enough and she left. And that wasn't the plan, but okay, here I am. So when I tell people that I opened up a bookstore, they said, "Of course you did." And I said, "Well, what makes you say that? I would never have pictured myself owning a bookstore." "Well, remember that poem you wrote a little while ago?" Because I used to host readings, and a lot of the readings that I hosted were in bookstores, and bookstores sometimes would go out of business. So what I did when this book came out in 2015, I combined several of the poems together and just call it Ode to Neighborhood Independent Bookstores. Poets need bookstores, owned not by a corporation, but by a person who is quirky, not completely polished, older than 22, and loves books, writers, poets, students, and scholars more than money. We need bookstores with old brick walls, concrete floors, a bright red couch that seems to swallow you when you sit in it. We need bookstores with a chess table in the front, miniature rocking chairs, stuffed toys for kids in back, and wooden bookshelves stretching nearly 15 feet to the ceiling with rolling ladders. We need bookstores that aren't taken for granted, forgotten until they fade away like yesterday's headlines exposed to bright sunshine in the store's glass front window. We all need bookstores with bells above the door, announcing our arrival, bells that welcome us home. And so based on that poem, when I told people that I now run a bookstore, they said, "Yeah, of course you do." The only reason to do a bookstore is because there's a sense of community behind it, and it will only work if the community gets behind the bookstore and supports it. So some of the most amazing things that happen is when people come in and just get really emotional and excited about a book that they see here, which is a pretty simple thing. So independent bookstores are a really important thing. When I used to go traveling, I would always check out the local bookstore. And the different bookstores all had something unique about them. Maybe they specialized in, they had the huge, mystery thriller section, or they had a huge history section. For me, I am an avid reader, and I will jump in and make all kinds of suggestions to people and point out different books that they should read. So even if they read something that maybe I don't think the world of, that's fine, as long as they're reading. So I'm hopefully helpful in pointing that out to people without being snobbish about it. I feel very fortunate being in Kirkland. Mary and Rebecca had been here for years, so it was kind of a given that this would be the independent bookstore in Kirkland. And then it's a matter of having those kinds of shoes to fill and expanding on what the bookstore can do with Kirkland, for Kirkland. And so it's a very symbiotic relationship with people. Obviously, I need people to come in and spend some money so I can pay my bills. But besides that, it's also got to be fun and educational and interesting for people. It has become a real passion for me in so many ways. And it's connected me, I don't want to say just to Kirkland, because Kirkland's a wonderful place, but it's certain people that come into the bookstore, and the connection is on a person-to-person basis. And Kirkland has been overall very supportive in terms of making sure that enough people have come in, and then every once in a while some little catastrophe will happen, and I put in my Facebook or on the blog, "Hey, might be a good time to come in and buy a few extra books. I'm struggling to make," and boom, people will show up. I always say your bookshop is open, and I say your bookshop because it is Kirkland's bookshop. I get to run it, but it's Kirkland's bookshop.